Hey, Facebook. We're happy to be here. It's Thursday night, and tonight is the night that my good friend Dr. Michael Gross and I come to you. Michael has a powerful message, and I'd go ahead and, I thank you all for showing up. And I'm going to go ahead and let Michael have a moment to say hello, and then we'll get going, okay?
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Michael Gross. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm really excited. I want to share some very interesting things about our life. So I appreciate it. And to you, I thank you for assisting me. And to you and I partner up in doing this. And to you, will be working on her computer, printing some information in the chats so that you'll have information about me or way to contact us or anything else that's pertinent. So thank you. To you,
I will
usually
introduce you.
does the introduction. So go ahead.
Okay, Dr. Michael Gross is an author, professional keynote speaker, transformational coach, and an incredible entrepreneur. For more than 3 decades, he's been on a spiritual path as an intuitive, a healer, a spiritual counselor, and an incredible teacher. Through the guidance of spirit, Michael has assisted others in their personal quest for self empowerment, me included, and he's helping others create the lives that they have long sought and are well deserved. He also has I'm trying not to read the script. I'm trying to just do it by memory, okay? That's why I kind of pause a little bit. But it's okay because Michael is very, very experienced in classes in spirituality, self empowerment, Reiki, and other modalities. He's been bringing forth an individual people's intuitive abilities for a very long time, 3 decades and then some. So, on that note, we can go on and on and on about how incredible Michael is, but I'm going to read this last part because this is something that I honestly believe everybody needs to know about you, Michael. You work in concert with the true source. You channel information from God, the true source. And it's an amazing skill and ability that you have, that you've been gifted with. And I love the fact that you remain so incredibly humble and you are so spot on with all the things that you've shared with all of us, here on this Facebook Live and in your calls and whatnot, So, people, please share this amazing video that Michael's about to do with your friends because we are all looking for answers. Right, Michael?
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. So this evening, I'd like to talk about you and me, and I thought that'd be something really interesting. Just to tell you the way you and I work, she'll give me a call, usually sometime in the afternoon or just before, and say, "What are we going to talk about?" And I tune in, so to speak, as the true source. What should be the subject matter, and the subject matter is you and me. And I want to talk a little bit more about you and me, and it talks about interpersonal relationships. And the first thing is the interpersonal relationship is what you have with your soul, then with the true source, and then eventually with others. In order to understand this, I'd like to lay out a little bit of an outline of your relationships. So, first of all, we have to always understand that we are an aspect of the true source. Well, what does that mean? Well, in our languaging on this planet Earth, we would say we have the DNA of the true source, or what I call the God true source seed. In other words, we're all part of the true source. And every experience we have, we relate to the true source in different ways. So vicariously, the true source is experiencing everything we do, not only me, but without this whole universe. Well, of course, you would say, wait a minute, if there are trillions and trillions of beings, how can the true source handle that? Well, we would say in our language, there's this huge, giant computer recording all this information. So that's what we would say in our languaging. But since we're all an aspect of the true source, everyone that exists and everything that exists is that the true source is able to take this information, this energy, this vibration and frequency, and experience our experiences, our life. So that's the first thing. The next relationship we have is with our soul. And understanding our soul is that our soul came here to experience life. And that's pretty incredible, experiencing life. Now, many of us who have incarnated on this planet need to understand that you came back to do a mission and goal. I've talked about that many times, but let's go a little bit deeper. So many of us are understanding karma. So karma is nothing but an experience, which I've said before. So what this is like a gigantic school on Mother Earth, that we're learning new experiences, we're doing different types of things. If you were Scrooge in a past lifetime, this lifetime you might be very flamboyant and give away your money or spend your money. Or if you cheated somebody out of something, you're going to experience something, you get cheated out of something. But it doesn't last a lifetime. It's short a period. Just when you get the message, you don't get it, you do it over and over again in this lifetime. Oh, and then you got it. I got it. Okay, I'm not going to do this again. I understand this is karmic. It's great. I understand it. And now you move forward. Problem is that when you have this relationship with your soul, who is saying, hey, Michael, you chose these experiences, you chose these family, friends, and relatives, etc. And this is part of your karma to empower you. And the beautiful part is, as you are learning this, you are changing 3 generations in the past, minimal, and 3 in the future. And let's look at that for a moment. 3 generations in the past is that there were really, let's say, your parents, grandparents, and great grandparents have this experience, whatever you're learning, and they haven't learned it fully. So you're helping to break that line. Then 3 in the future, because you may have made agreements with children and other souls to learn things. So when you understand it, you break the chain so that they don't have to learn that. What you're doing something really powerful. Now let's look a little more forward. So now when you look at you and me, or basically me, you are now creating a blank frame. And within this frame, I should say a blank canvas that you can recreate or create your life you so desire. You can recreate it once you found out about it. Don't recognize what the karma was and keep doing it over and over again. And if you don't get it, you can come back in another lifetime, you get the round trip. Or you can say, I've learned it and now I can move forward. How do you learn it? Well, you just can't say, oh, I know what it is all about. It's not that way. You have to experience the energy of it, the joy and happiness or the pain or whatever the experience is. And once you have, you go, I've learned it, I understand it, and it's over and done with. And of course, after you do that, you'll be given a test. Your soul goes, hey, Michael, you really got it right? You're going to get a test to see if you got it right. Usually there are 2 or 3 situations that come up. And you go, no, been there, done that. And guess what? You move forward. So now you become the ballerina, you become the dancer. Hey, it's all done. And I can do the dance of life. Well, what is the dance of life? The dance of life is, this is where those souls around you are observing you and saying, well, poor XYZ, they're still stuck. How many of you know people are still complaining, my mother, my father, I lost this, I did this, and on and on. First, you have compassion, you have understanding, you have love, and then they're like, enough already, I heard it. But there are some souls that don't want to let go. So what are they doing? They're punishing themselves over and over and over again. Life is meant to be joy and happiness. So part of you and me is, what are you going to attract? So what you think you create, you experience. I know if you listen to me, you've heard this over and over again, but it's so important for us to be reminded of that, because when we're reminded of that, we're going to think twice. So you've been attracting people around you that are sad, unhappy, grouchy, probably negative, and so on and so forth. You have to declare, enough already. I'm through. I've learned that. I want to attract more people that are loving, caring, that I am becoming more loving and caring. Once you start that, you're going to be surrounded with beautiful souls that are loving and caring. That's so important. But you have a choice. You can live in misery. Oh, me, everything happens to me. Or I'm happy about life. all these lessons in life empower me. And it's really true. Look at everything you've gone through, positive or challenging. Notice the word challenging as an empowerment because you learn something. And that's so important. So, how many times you need to learn the same things over and over? Well, the human way is sometimes 4 or 5 times, sometimes a little less. But now that you're hearing what I'm sharing with you, is like, hey, I got it. I don't need to do this. I am in charge of my life, and I'm going to be an example for you and the whole world to see this. And then when I'm around you, meaning another person, I'm going to inspire them. Many times I used to go to some business meetings with some friends of mine. I said, "You're too woo woo. You're too woo woo. We don't want you here." And I go, "Okay." And I talked to my dear friend about that, and he told me that it's like I'm going to be a little bit less woo woo, but I am not going to change who I am, what I stand for. And that's so important because the minute you step away for who you are, what you stand for, which is part of your mission and goal, then you open the door to a flood of naysayers and negative people. Well, God bless them, I would say, or you would say, and I would say, bless them with the true source of unconditional love because they need to understand that they are the SOUL, creator of their life. How does it begin? Everything starts within you or your soul. Everything, if you look at everything that happened to your life, say, I created it. Well, you're going to say, how did I create an automobile accident, Michael? Well, you did. Because, for example, when you have an automobile accident, nobody enjoys having one. You actually had a warning which you didn't listen to. And what happens is it's so fast. Be careful. And you're busy with the radio or playing on your phone or whatever. And then you go, yeah, I had this funny feeling this might occur. So your soul is talking to you 24/7, but you don't want to listen because you are too busy. You think you're making it up. You think it's imaginary. It may be my ego, blah, 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 blah. So your relationship with yourself is about understanding who you are. You've all heard this trite cliche. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. This experience is the reason you're human. Is you're feeling the energy of this. Everything has an energy and vibration. Everything has an emotion. Everything has a color. Everything about you is now percolating or creating by your thoughts and whatever you're doing. So have you thought, well, nothing's gone right and I'm so unhappy and my marriages, my kids are, and so on and so forth. Until something, when you're down in the mouth, comes very traumatic and you go, oh, I better change. I don't want this in my life anymore. Why would you create that in your life? Because you're not listening to your soul. And you know that when your soul talks to you, how to change. Of course, I get, well, how do you know it's your soul, Michael? How do I know it's not my imagination? How do you know it's not my ego? Well, if it's your imagination/ego, it has to justify everything. Give you 40 million reasons. I'm exaggerating, but lots of reasons why. Whereas your soul is just do this or that. It's like go slow near the corner. Why do I have to go slow? And boom, you have an accident. So you question every little thing. You don't need to question. You need to discern. Keyword, discern. If it's a multiple reasons, it's the ego. If it's quick out of nowhere, it is your soul. That makes a big difference. Sometimes, though, when you get messages, you have to temper that. And when I wasn't aware of it, I'll share this with some of you. I wrote in my book, and there was a hot cheerleader, and I was a senior, and I want to date her. She's really hot. So I walked up to her. Hi, Michael, you're pregnant. She slapped me. I said, where in the deuce did that come from? Guess what? She was pregnant. So a couple of things saved me with that. Number one, had I dated her and she had been pregnant, let's say I wasn't intimate with her at that point, I would have been the guilty one. And everybody would have looked at me. And then it would be proven, I don't know if they did DNA tests or whatever, She might admit it wasn't me, but by then the damage would have been done. Totally done. So you look at that, even though I got slapped and I didn't realize that, is what I call the true source of my soul protecting me. And that's what you got to realize. Because in your relationship with yourself, there are others around you that are influencing you, and you're being influenced 24/7. And if you don't think you're being influenced, watch a reel, watch a TV, a movie, watch what somebody says, and you get really angry about what they're saying. Or maybe you get really happy and say, yeah, it feels right. It's wonderful. You're always being influenced. But your major influence, once you learn how to meditate and find your way, is your soul and the true source. That's what's so important that you need to listen to. And that's your direction in life because a great change is coming, very powerful. I know Tia wants to say something. Well, I have my double water on the rocks. Go ahead, Tia.
I have a question about is it possible that all the stressors in the world, the stuff that comes into our life every day, gets so difficult for us to actually hear the thoughts of our soul?
Yes, it is difficult. Just think about having 7 radios in a room playing all, different music or different talk shows, all 7 going on at once. It's like overwhelming. And then your brain gets tired. It's like, I don't know what anybody's saying. And what do? You shut down. And the minute you shut down, you block out everything in your life because you don't want to hear all this stuff. Well, what if you're selective? What if you program yourself? Say, I just want to hear positive things. I just desire to do positive things. I desire to be loving and caring. Well, that's your choice. And all you have to do is say that and get out of your own way. Well, how can I do this, Michael? I don't know how to do it. And you give me this long litany. And remember when I talked to the true source, I said, true source, why is spirituality so difficult? True source said, you humans have to make a big deal out of everything. Kind of cracked me up, but it's true. Everything in life is so simple. We're the one that make it difficult. We're the one that make it challenging. And then you get some information, or you should do. Well, should I do it? I have this. Should I do this? And you ask this person, that person, 23 people, you get 23 opinions, or whatever it is. And what makes them an expert in your life? You are the expert in your life. You know the direction you should go into. You innately, naturally, or we would say organically today, know exactly what to do. Isn't it great how we use all these different words? We need to go back to the basic. You innately know. You're born with that wonderful wisdom from your soul, and it's time to start listening. Look at the world today. It's so chaotic. And then there's certain words you can use, you can't use. You offend that person, you offend this person, you offend that person. Like, oh my goodness. And I'm going, you're offending everybody. I suppose, if I sneeze the wrong way, I'm going to offend somebody because I sneezed. And I would. Oh, you put your hanky over your mouth or your hand. I'm going to get disease. I'm going to get sick. I go over a person's house and, they take my glass and they make sure they wash it when I'm done and almost sterilize it. And I watch all they're doing. I went, hey, when you were a kid, you ate a pound of sand when you were a kid. You played around, drank out of a rubber hose. You skinned your knee. You played in the dirt. Maybe you got bitten by a bee. Guess what? You're still here. You're still alive. By the way, you rode your bicycle without a helmet, right? And I had a motorcycle and you rode it without a helmet, but eventually I put on a helmet. We look, what we need to understand is tune into your soul, tune into me. Me is the you of your life. And you need to understand the direction you desire to go into. Because when it comes time for you to birth out, you're going to be thinking, I should have, would have, could have done this. Well, don't should have, would have, could have. Just do it now. Sometimes you get a thought like, I should call Tia. Well, I'm too busy, and blah, 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 blah. And then Tia said, I need you so bad, or whatever. There was somebody that was saying that they got a message they should call their father. They're too busy. And the next day, their father birthed out. and they felt very sad. Listen to those thoughts. That's your conversation with yourself. You and me is your conversation. And your life is not about your mother, your father, your aunts, your uncles, your sister, your brothers, or somebody else. It's all about you and what is important to you. Number one, it should be your health. You can't buy your health. Number two, should be your spiritual path. Actually, should be the other way around. Your spiritual path is health and then health. And number three is what makes your heart sing. And then everything around you falls into place. Because whatever you're thinking, you create what you create your experience. But more importantly, not only are you creating your life, you're creating love and joy and happiness. That's what everybody's seeking. But we're too busy buying toys and all these things to feel good, and then we need another fix, another boat, another car, and so on. But I know Tia wants to say something. So go ahead, Tia.
I do. I never thought that I could meditate because I had so much stuff going on in my head all the time. I couldn't, back when I first met you, I struggled to meditate. And I've learned from you how important that is, because meditation is how we hear the thoughts of our soul. Is that right?
Correct. That's one of the ways. The other way is you would open up channel TS True Source, and what you would hear is all these thoughts. Now, your information comes sometimes, excuse me, directly from the true source. Sometimes it filters down into your soul. Either way, who cares? As long as you get the message. And I tell people, who cares what way you get? As long as you get it, that's all that's important. Sometimes it has to be filtered through for you to go, oh, I got it now. Like knock, knock, knock to you, Michael, Michael, Michael. Oh, I think I'll have another hot fudge sundae, Michael, Michael, Michael. All right, soul, take over. Give him the message. Give him an aha. Oh, now I got it. But we are trained to be negative. Well, why would I want to do that? Well, what's the first word you learn? No, don't touch this. Of course, when I was growing up, time around Abraham Lincoln, when I said, well, why do I have to do it? Because I said so. My father would say that, or my mother. Grumble, 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 grumble. But you know what? They were really right. Now, and we're a little wiser, we said, well, these are the repercussions. This is why you should do that. But even then, teenagers and some adults just, don't want to do that. They want to do it their way or the highway. And my attitude, because I work with so many people, bless you, do it your way. Then I get a phone call. Oh, it didn't work out. Okay, well, just a thought. Maybe you should realize a couple of thoughts I shared with you, but I don't rub it in. I just let it go. Or I say, did you learn something new? Yeah, that's perfect. That's what it is. But all of you that are listening to this, because your soul is tuning in, your soul is going, knock, 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 listen to this. You got to tune into this. Channel TS True Source, and I'm just a conduit for the True Source, by the way. That's all I am. Just a conduit. What's a conduit? Bringing you the message. Are there other people bringing you messages? Yes, there were many souls in the past that bring you messages. And the messages are powerful. That's why I'm doing this, because it's all about you reconnecting with the true source. Because I signed up to do this work. And that's part of my mission and goal, to awaken your soul, to get back to the true source. Now, there are many other souls that are doing it. I'm not the only one. But notice my words, the true source, not religiosity. Oh, the Bible says, the Bible says. No, that's not what I call spirituality. That's religiosity. And certainly, if you desire to do that, that's fine. But remember, when I ask the true source, why is spirituality so difficult? Because you humans make a big deal about it. Spirituality is your own experiences reconnecting with the true source. So we looked at all the wonderful teachers that we had in the past. They were able to do miracles and all kinds of things because they were connected with the true source. And they had what I call true source inner guidance. Well, it's there 24/7. And the true source unconditionally loves you. Gee, doesn't that sound familiar? You learned it through religiosity. But then I would ask or understood that religiosity was merely a stepping stone, set up a moral code for you to develop your own spiritual understanding, to empower you, to realize that you are the sole creator of your life and that the only limitations you have are your pre-imposed limitations by your thoughts. You know, Henry Ford said, whether you think you can do a thing or whether you think you can't do a thing, you're right. Well, look at that message. That's pretty gosh darn powerful. So you're in charge of your life. I talk about what you think you create, what you create, you experience. Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within. We get all these messages, but we have trouble interpreting it. I had one client many years. I want proof. I want proof. I'm a seeker. I'm a seeker. How long have you been doing this? 27 years. I'm a seeker. I want more proof. Like, you haven't got it by now? My gosh. You're proud to be a seeker? How about putting to action what you've learned? And part of what Tiu said is through meditation and doing meditation. That's what's also very important. I will cover more meditation on the next series. But I'd like all of you to know, because we're winding down, is that you are the creator of your life. That's so important. You know, in the biblical sense, like God knows everything you're going to do. Well, it's like, I don't know if I'm going to chew gum. I don't know if I'm going to go for a walk. I don't know if I'm going to watch TV. How can God know what I'm going to do if I have free will and free choice? There's something for you to think about. And I remember when I was in nursing home, one of my patients, a beautiful soul, she came down with breast cancer. She had no family. And she said, you know, Dr. Gross, why is God punishing me? So I had a little conversation with her. God didn't punish you. There's something that you're not letting go of that you need to heal. So, you know, I promised her after the operation I would be there in recovery, which I was. We had a long talk, and she got free of cancer, and she lived maybe another 10 or 15 years. She had breast cancer when she was 80, so maybe she lasted to about 90 or 95, but she learned whatever she did. Every illness is an experience. Everything is something for you to learn from. Whether it's a cold, it's a headache, a hangnail, something for you to learn about. And we're going to cover more of this in the next series that I'll be talking about. But, you know, we're getting close to the 30-minute time. Tia, do you want to add anything?
I really, really look forward to your next segment regarding this topic, you and me, because every time you get on this weekly Facebook Live that we do, I learn something more, and it's such a blessing for us to hear your wisdom, because you're channeling it, and you know that's how we learn about ourselves. You know, getting out of our analogical mind, right?
Exactly. That's the term.
He calls me Doubting Thomas sometimes. I keep trying to tell him, no, Doubting Thomasina maybe, but you know, anyway, we should probably wrap it up. And then, Michael, I've got some numbers and stuff to share. Okay, so you go ahead and take it away.
All right. So every Tuesday, Pacific Standard Time or Daylight Time, from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. is called Words of Wisdom. It's your opportunity to call in, ask for any questions you so desire, and hopefully I can answer them. And then I deliver a 10-minute motivational message. And then I think I'm up to 200, am I?
You have over 200. I believe it's 287.
All right, 287 messages. And there's a way to access that. First, I want to talk about Words of Wisdom. And it's from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., sometimes 5 minutes over. But would you give them that number? It's on freeconferencecall.com. And please share that number.
It's 202-926-1059. And the access code, Michael?
125-446-pound. I have fun doing this.
I love it when you do that. Okay, one more time. That number is 202-926-1059. And the code?
Access code is 125-446-pound. So it's really key. I desire all of you, I should say. Come in. There's something you can learn. I don't care how spiritual you are. Maybe you know all this stuff. Sometimes we need to be reminded. And if I've got over 285 messages, and I have over, I don't know, 700 quotes, which I deliver on Facebook. But sometimes I have to read them again and have aha to remember. And it helps me too, because this information is channeled. That's the first one I want to share with you. The next thing is the second Saturday of every month from 9:55 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time to 11:01 Pacific Daylight Time. You call in on your phone. We do a mass consciousness healing. And this is so important because in a mass consciousness healing, I talk for 2 to 4 minutes and I'm done. We do a beautiful meditation. And then I talk about 2 or 3 minutes when we're done. We have a symbiotic relationship with each other, with Mother Nature, with this planet, the nature source, the weather, everything that exists. We have that symbiotic relationship. You know what it's based on? Love. And that's so important. There's the only thing that I talk about that's important. There are two energies I talk about: love and anything that isn't love. And yeah, you can say there are other energies, but I'm taking the big picture: love and anything that isn't love. That covers everything. In order to access that, you use the same telephone number. And give that again, please.
Absolutely. It's 202-926-1059. And the access code, Michael?
Same one, 125-446 pound. And I want to share this because let's say you forget about it and you go, oh my gosh, it's 10 after 10. I want to get on. Join us if you're late. But don't announce it. I will know that you're on. And then we do silence. So after the first 4 or 5 minutes, we're silence for about 58 minutes. And then I close. So don't worry about it. You don't have to go, I'm here. And if you do that, well, what happens is people are in deep meditation. So please respect that. And the last thing is I call the replays, 285 messages. Wow. Do I do a lot of talking? Oh my goodness. So you dial this number. Please give them the number.
Absolutely. 434-300-4170. And the access code, Michael?
125-446 pound. So when you call in, it's going to ask you what number you would like to start at or listen to. Actually, there's a reason I started at number 3, but someday I'll tell you later. But anyway, 3 to 285 or 86. You're not going to, well, what's the right one? What's the right one? Just listen to the soul. And I can't tell you how many people said, yeah, I listened to number 92. I don't know why. It's just what I needed to hear. Your soul will tell you what you need to hear. Would you please give them that number again?
Absolutely. It's also in the comments, but the number for the recordings is 434-300-4170. And the code, Michael?
125-446 pound. Everyone, I encourage all of you to join us. We have to make a difference in the world. You are the solution. You can make a difference. It's time to wake up from the deep slumber, to awaken your soul, to say, hey, I need to listen because I can create the change that's needed. And what we need to do is change this back into the proverbial, philosophical, whatever you want to call it, Garden of Eden. I want to add another point or two and then we'll conclude. But many years ago, when we looked at the 1800s, person had a barn fire. People would come over. You'd buy the lumber. They would cut down trees. You have a big potluck, and everybody would come over every weekend to help build the barn. Or if you're sick, people would come by with food or help you out. We don't do that anymore. It's all about I, me, I, me, I, me, I, me, I, me. And we forgot about that. We need to get back to that. Otherwise, we're going to lose our identity and who we are and what we are and be controlled by forces that are not very friendly, that want to manipulate and control us. And if you don't think that's happening, take a look around the world. Now, I want to conclude. And so, Tia and I talk about our book. And this is Tia's book, Healing the Souls in Your Hole. Healing the Holes in Your Soul. And I'll get it right. I'm floating. Healing the Holes in Your Soul. It's about a book of survival, about a book of listening to your soul. It's about the phoenix that rose from the ashes and finding her path in life. This is a must read. It's very inspirational. And it's a true story that I believe will help a lot of women and men and young adults. It's a must read. So thank you.
You're welcome, Michael, but start here. This is Michael's book, The Spiritual Primer, and this became the most incredible book for me because it started waking up my mind and my soul. And working with you, I'm honored to continue moving forward with my spiritual growth. So start with this one, because if it wasn't for this book and that gentleman right over there, the one he's holding would not even be here. It would not be in existence, but he encouraged me to write my story as well. And I also have one more thing to add, Michael, if I may. Dr. Michael Gross has a YouTube channel, and I encourage everybody to go to Dr. Michael B. Gross and subscribe, because the beautiful messages that he gives in the 10-minute recorded calls are also being put onto his YouTube channel. And all the recordings that we've done together on Thursdays, which was at one time Sundays, are in his YouTube channel as well. So if you really, really, really want to get a wonderful dose of Dr. Michael Gross, definitely subscribe. It's well worth your time.
Thank you. And by the way, the audio messages that I have on YouTube has beautiful photography. I don't know if you knew that, but Hugh's an award-winning photographer, and there are little, let's say, motivational sayings. And after the motivational sayings, I deliver those 10-minute messages that I do on Soul Awakening. And the only other point I wanted to add for me, my book used to be on Amazon. I have not resupplied Amazon for specific reasons, but you got my telephone number. You can go to drmichaelgross.com or .net, which either one you'll get there either way, and you can order a book. You'll get it personally autographed, and you save a little bit of money. But more importantly, I encourage you to look at Tia's book and my book and consider purchasing it. We're not in the book business. We're in the business, figuratively speaking, that we're working with our souls to awaken your soul to find your path in life and your mission and goal. That's why we wrote these books. That's why she wrote hers. I wrote mine. Mine's the second edition. There's little things about manifestation which can change your life. I want to thank all of you for joining us. I appreciate all of you. And remember, you are unlimited. Namaste, everybody. We love you.
Namaste.
Have a great week. Take care.
Thank you for joining us. Invite your friends.
Take care.